McGovern is our guest, final segment. Ray, what about the rest of the world, geopolitically? What's going on?
Well, what's going on is the rest of the world is looking at us and kind of shaking its head. The Russians and the Chinese and the Indians are the big players, of course. And as they watch what we're trying to do in Afghanistan, they're sort of shrugging their shoulders and saying, well, be our guest. We all tried that in Afghanistan. We all failed, going back to Alexander the Great, not to mention Genghis Khan and the Persians and the Indians and the British and the Russians. Go ahead, waste your military. And with respect to with Iran, the Russians used to care a great deal about what happened on their soft southern underbelly, but they seem almost cavalier with respect to Iranian plans. And I think part of that has to do with the fact that they don't have Israel as their, quote, ally, end quote. Now, why do I use quotes? Well, because 99% of the American people believe that Israel is an ally of the United States. That's wrong. An alliance requires a treaty. There is no mutual defense treaty between the United States and Israel. And the reason there is none is because treaties require internationally recognized boundaries, and Israel is in possession for over 60 years now. No, 60 years from 67 on till now, whatever the math is, of the occupied territories, West Bank, East Jerusalem, and the Gaza Strip. And Israel, the last thing it wants is to have any international body draw the borders back to where they used to be. So there is no alliance, and yet we proceed, and the media characterizes our relationship with Israel as an alliance. Our policymakers treat it that way. But Russia sits back and laughs and says, well, if they do something really idiotic, if they close the Straits of Hormuz, guess who benefits? Who benefits?
Russia.
Russia has got all the oil, Man, that's the price of oil. We'll be able to have a villa. We'll have a dacha for each little worker in the Russia.
Is that why Russia met with Netanyahu secretly a month ago and has now said they support sanctions against Iran?
Well, Russia plays a very clever game. They express concern about this, and then they go ahead. Now, with Netanyahu, they are a restraining influence, although they don't care as much as we do. So when Netanyahu goes up there, what you expect him to get is not approval for a strike on Iran, but some sort of reassurance that, for example, the Russians won't sell sophisticated missiles to defend the Iranian sites there, the enrichment sites. So, last year, Ehud Olmert went to Moscow, and he was summoned there, and the Russians warned him in similarly definitive terms, like Admiral Mullen, don't even think of attacking Iran. So the Russians have no real incentive for that kind of attack, but if it happens, they're going to be the big beneficiary by doubling the price of their oil.
Got to cut you off. We're almost out of time. In the last minute, do you think it's sanctions or an attack? I mean, if you had to make a dead reckoning again, do you think they're going to hit Iran in the next year or two?
I don't know, Alex. It will depend on how this thing plays out. There will be sanctions first, but there's great pressure for an attack, and I would not rule out the likelihood that Israel would be given a nod by somebody in the White House and go ahead and do it and force our hand.
And then Iran will go absolutely wild.
Oh, yeah, it'll be bedlam, and we'll suffer great attrition for our own troops in the area.
Ray McGovern, thank you for your time.
You're most welcome.
We are back live, ladies and gentlemen, already into the fourth and final hour of this worldwide broadcast, Wednesday, the 30th day of September 2009. Wanted to give you Ray McGovern's perspective on the Iran situation. We just got that from him. Going to be getting into how we are on the enemies list, some new developments from Hardin, Montana as well, with a fellow that's been doing some in-depth research there. That is coming up in the next segment. We've got several Hardin clips. Which one do we have first? I want to play a few of these. And we're going to play a few of these news reports of what's happening in Hardin, and then we'll be right back. Stay with us after this quick break. Some of the history of it, the would-be FEMA camp with weird paramilitary forces patrolling around at it, and then we will continue. Here we go.
This could be Gitmo West. Right now, it's a prison with no prisoners in tiny Hardin, Montana. City officials want to fill it with detainees from Guantanamo Bay, terrorists like self-proclaimed 9/11 mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed.
It would bring jobs. Believe it or not, it would even bring hope and opportunity.
This is the poorest county in Montana, and the $27 million prison has turned into a white elephant. But not everyone wants detainees here.
I would move out of Hardin. My son is in the military. He came back from Afghanistan. He says the people have no respect for any human life, even their own.
They are some of the most dangerous people in the world, and some in the community worry that if they were here in this medium security prison, they would attract other radicals to the area, or even worse, escape.
The person that wants to make it an issue, we'd be happy to lock them up and see how long it takes them to come out. And then if they can, I'll buy them coffee at the coffee shop. Not a problem.
There are plenty of cameras and wiring for more, and row upon row of razor wire. They're even ready for trouble here. They've got gas masks and riot helmets, shields, batons. They even have guns. There's also open land around the prison that would make a getaway difficult. Because there are no prisoners, Glenn and Ray Perkins got laid off after moving to Hardin to take guard jobs. They've worked at maximum security prisons in Texas.
Everything in this one's state-of-the-art. It's the most secure place I've ever worked in.
Even more secure than those maximum security facilities?
Absolutely, yeah.
But they oppose moving detainees here, even though it might mean getting their jobs back.
Bottom line, I just want the facility to open, but no, I don't really want Gitmo in my backyard.
Montana's senators agree.
I don't think they know what they're asking for when they're asking to take these prisoners on.
But President Obama wants to close Guantanamo in January, and if that happens, the detainees will have to go somewhere.
Coming into a community that really wants them is going to be a lot easier than going into one that doesn't.
And this may be the only city in the country that's ready, willing, and able to take them. Gene Meserve, CNN, Hardin, Montana.